And speaking of restoration, if sleep is how the body heals in stillness, then breath is how it heals in motion. Our next session takes us into that powerful bridge between body, mind, and consciousness, which is breathwork. Mike O'Meara is the founder and lead trainer of Evolution of Breath, a global movement built on a simple but profound truth. The breath is our original shaman, our guide, and our healer. For over a decade, he has traveled across India, South Africa, and beyond, carrying the lineage, this remembrance, and this medicine. Through his in person trainings, Mike has initiated over 200 breathwork facilitators, teachers who now carry his work forward through their own circles, ceremonies, and breathwork schools. Today, he'll be leading us into Frequency of Breath, a session that invites us to slow down, breathe deeper, and experience how the rhythm of our breath can transform our energy, awareness, and inner state. Please join me in welcoming the deeply gifted Mike O'Meara.
Do you have that? Okay, hi everybody. My name is Mike. I live in India for the last 5 years. It's my home, as it is yours. I'm Irish. I am a breathwork facilitator, teacher trainer, medicine facilitator, shamanic facilitator, many types of facilitation techniques. But the one that is the closest to my heart, the most profound, the easiest, the simplest, and also the most difficult of all is breathing. We do it 20 to 25,000 times a day, and most of us do it unconsciously. And every now and again, when we get glimpses of awakening, aha moments, we do it consciously. So this session is a little bit different how I normally would do sessions, and it's a little bit on the esoteric side as a frequency, the frequency of breath, because the world we're entering into with AI and new medicines, new technologies, there is one very old technology being designed by Shiva or Vishnu, Ganesha, Lord Jesus, Buddha, Jesus, whoever, the Ascended Masters. There is one consistent to all across the universe, I believe, and that is inhaling and exhaling. Big bang, contraction. Inhale, exhale. And we will do it until we pass over. And if we believe in reincarnation and we come back in again, we will take a first breath and off we go again as we learn how to navigate the human existence. So today's session is on the frequency of breath. So first of all, what is breath? Okay, so we've talked about many different healing modalities in the space, from supplements to lymphatic drainage, a variety of different ways that you would do your work here. And one very important way is also to raise your vibration. How do you raise your vibration? It's been talked about for millennia through the sages, rishis, nomads. Anyone who has entered onto the spiritual path will come across this part. Breath is vibration, it is code, it carries intelligence. When you get out of your own way, when you start to adapt a discipline and a consistency in healing, you hopefully will land on the idea that breath is intelligent. It has your best interest at heart and always will. What does that mean? It means it has code. It has a frequency designed into the matrix with the Great Spirit's backing. What does that mean? It means it is a language through which your body remembers its infinite being. And in that context, tremendous healing can take place as you expand your consciousness, find your faith, deeply understand the meaning of life. And at that moment, a lot of the nonsense that we carry through life has the potential to fall away. Why? Because it's loose-lying leaves. It's worry, guilt, anger, shame, emotions that were unprocessed, left in the human body until they need to be integrated, felt again, and removed. So just to highlight, breathing takes you from chaos to coherence, once you know how to do it. From tension to expansion, okay? Tense, reflex to open your wings. From mind to awareness, and form back to source through meditation. Nadi Shodhana, different breathing practices from the Indian tradition, and one in particular, which I will share with you today, that Mugdha has done the course, and my other students. And there are many more out there in the world that have this technique. So the resonance of the human field. So your breath sets the pattern of your electromagnetic field. What does that mean? If you do something 20,000 times a day, it means that if you're doing it incorrectly, your magnetic field is going to be slightly off. It means you're not going to be at the geometry patterns that I would like you to be, or that is available to you. Why is geometry important? Because underneath all of us, the DNA blocks and beyond again, geometry, mathematics, okay? So when we breathe, we're also breathing the code of the universe. And within the code of the universe has structure. That's why it takes form from emptiness to structure. And within structure, there is the Great Spirit. And the Great Spirit wants what's best for us once we decide to do our work, come to places like iThrive, come to places like Peru, do inner work, go to Vipassana, do yoga teacher trainings, whatever it is that gets you out of your comfort zone and into your inner world of healing, facing your shadow, your stuff, your emotions, your blockages, and all other things that are outdated in your life. That's essentially what we're doing here at this conference, is to find out what is in our way and to tell it, how do I get it out of my way? Through detoxification and supplements and breathing and fasting and autophagy and a whole range of other things. They're all linked together. But essentially, when our breath, heart, and awareness synchronize, something profound happens, which brings me to the idea of memory. So you've all been to a Shiva temple, I'm sure. I have. I've traveled the world and I've done breathwork at many temples. Guess what happens when I go to a temple? I entrain with the frequency of the stones. What does that mean? It means that all the stones in every temple in India carry a resonance, carry a memory associated with the Great Spirit, and all the people who prayed to Shiva and chanted his name in those temples, I get to receive through entrainment through my breath. Okay? So I work with these spaces by entraining to that which is already there. I heal by being there. And a number of you, your grandparents, or maybe yourselves, your parents have gone to these temples, and without doing anything, they have found something profound. Am I right? They probably have. I hope they have. What did they find? They found expansion. They found something beyond themselves. They found faith. They found perhaps a guide, a glimpse of the divine by just being still, which brings me to stillness. Breath becomes smooth, effortless. This one here. Breath becomes smooth. Mind becomes neutral. And most importantly of all, when it comes to our healing, which everyone forgets all the time, safety. You cannot heal if you don't feel safe in your own body. Polyvagal theory. You must find safety within the body. You can take all the supplements you want. You can do all the ayahuasca you want. You can do all the chemotherapy you want. But if you're not safe in your body from whatever reason, childhood wounds, physical abuse, sexual abuse, it doesn't matter. Safety creates the conditions for healing. Remember that, okay? It's very important. And it's one we forget. And then we have the resonance, okay? So we find that human connection, the heart center, the breath, the heart, and the mind are working as one, connected to the divine through breathing. Just to bring it back to the detoxification, 70% of all detoxification comes through breathing. 70% of all detoxification in the body comes through breathing. So the takeaway from my session here should be, you guys and women should start breathing, and you should start teaching breathing. And this is the woman who's going to show you how to do it, because I taught her how to breathe. So Mugdha has done the course with me. That's how she started off this workshop. Breathwork has landed. Conscious connected breathing, or what we call circular breathing, has landed. And it was kept very safe, in my opinion, in the caves with the rishis and sages and the ancient ones, because it only really landed in the West from 1960 onwards, when Leonard Orr met Babaji in a transmission experience near Rishikesh, and was given the practice of conscious connected breathing to take back to the West. And because he practiced every day, he felt he was reborn every day. Such was the power of the practice. And there are no texts in any of the Indian traditional texts I have been looking for and I've asked about conscious connected breathing. It is very hush-hush, and rightly so. So every breathing pattern forms a geometric waveform. Now we just enter more esoteric here, okay? A waveform has the potential to collapse in on itself and then expand as one. So what we're all doing is we are manipulating waveforms or calling in other waveforms or using our frequency and our antenna to drop into a waveform that we choose that will help with our healing. So how would we do this within the breathing sequence? So when you breathe in particular patterns, welcome to Ayurveda and Indian traditional pranayama. When you breathe in particular patterns, you are quite literally drawing geometry with your awareness. Now this goes in a little bit deeper into sort of the geometry, the mathematics of why we do things. It's why I'm fascinated by pyramids, about sacred sites, about geometry. It's why I go to stone circles and why I walk labyrinths and do breathwork and pray. Why? Because I am in training with mathematics of the universe. I'm tapping into frequencies that allow me to tap into bigger and bigger scenarios and energies that allow me to get to this sort of stage to teach you guys. That's how it works. It's all about downloads. Downloads information, aha moments, activated through my DNA codes at sites that carry a frequency through my breathing, allows me to heal. Okay, heal. Now, healing is an overused word, but let's just say I remove the blockages in my energy system. I find faith, I find self-love. Very hard one to quantify for someone who's working on grief or maybe an abandonment wound at childhood. Finding self-love through circular breathing can actually heal you of a childhood wound because you were always loved. They didn't know how to love you. For example, so the abandonment wound, the rejection wound can cause tremendous imbalances in the body-mind that breathing can go in and work through. So let's go back to geometry. Box breathing. Inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, hold for 4. It's been taught to the Navy SEALs and a whole range of other different groups globally, especially in the personal development space, as one of the very best practices for stability, grounding. This is the practice. Circular breathing, which I have now trained 300 teachers in and thousands of people globally. This is a sphere, high, infinite, no beginning or no end. I'll explain more about this in a minute. Triangular breath, inhale, hold, exhale, inhale, hold, exhale. The duration is irrelevant. It's all about the resonance. It's all about the entrainment into the mathematics behind the breathing style. Okay? So, again, look at all the circles. Look at all the ideas. Look at all the ways you can work. There are Merkaba breathing patterns. There are so many different breaths out there in the world, from the Egyptians to the Indian, from the Druids to the South Americans. There are many ways to activate this particular chart with your breaths, including lengthening or reducing the time of breathing. Okay. So, I am a circular breathing teacher, you could say, breathwork teacher. What that means is that I teach people how to breathe for an hour non-stop, inhaling and exhaling without any pause at the top of the inhale or the bottom of the exhale. That's what I do. So for example, this is how it would look like if I was to do it sitting up. One hour non-stop. Okay? That's the practice. The key is I don't chase, I don't force, I don't manipulate. I create a circular wave. I entrain with the frequency of pi. I create a circular breath that has an energy directly linked to the mathematics of the universe. It is an infinite breath without a beginning and without an end, but it carries a harmonic. Okay? And that is why this particular breathing practice, as Mugdha has learned and many other teachers, has the potential when the wave kicks in that you saw, and usually people do it lying down, all inorganic material, all trauma, all belief systems, and anything outdated in your field of energy suppress and repressed emotions from childhood, any child abuse that you may or may not have encountered, and or ancestral trauma with regular practice will be brought up into this circle to be integrated, processed, and released. Nothing is out of bounds for the Great Spirit. The frequency of breath will go exactly where it needs to go if you allow it. Healing, insights, downloads, letting go, facing your shadow, facing your light, like Vipassana. Pain here, trauma here, moves around. Impermanence, oneness, that's the practice. So, inhale frequency is sympathetic. I want to explore myself. Exhale is relax. I want to drop back into parasympathetic. Inhale, explore. Exhale, relax. And you drop in and you drop out. You learn how to manage the internal weather, the internal stress by breathing through your shit. Pardon my English, but that's the reality. You want to get strong vagal tone? Breathe. You want to face your demons? Breathe. You want to get strong mentally? Breathe through your stuff. And I assure you will get very strong very quickly. So, if the inhale is profound and not shallow, which means I want to be alive, vibrant, I want to thrive, you gotta breathe. Let's be honest. If you want to be shallow and condensed and hidden, it's fight or flight for you. So you need to teach people how to breathe. Open your lungs and spread your wings. Energy ascends upward through the spine. Again, we want the diaphragm to go down. The psoas muscle is relaxed. Our diaphragm is here. This area needs to be nice and soft. The fascia, which has been spoken about earlier, is loose and nimble. It's like a honeycomb that covers our entire body. Fascia is the new breathwork. You want to work? Fascia is where it's at. Is that the last one for me? Yeah, give me 2 minutes. I want to show you one more very important slide. This is it. If I want to sum up what I do and why I do what I do and why it's so profound for me, the practice of circular breathing is not just an esoteric practice. It is a waveform. It is me merging with the frequency of pi. So pi is the invisible ratio that defines all circles. What I teach and what Mugdha is teaching is circular breathing. It doesn't matter the length of the circle or the size of the circle. It is still a circle with a waveform and will always have the ratio of 3.14. So we are in training with this as we practice breath work. Circular breath equals pi in motion. The understanding of this means that we are connecting to living geometry within the waveform of pi. Okay, what that basically means is that this waveform has the potential to work through you at the deepest levels that spirit has designed the matrix to be. In other words, you are entrained with the frequency of pi. Again, this line, the radius of your inner awareness mirrors the circumference of your body's wisdom. You stop breathing in parts, you breathe as a whole. Again, very simply, our bodies and as the human experience, we like curves over squares. Okay? We are very, very relaxed in our body when we are doing curved breathing because it mimics the mathematics of the universe. It softens the brainstem, relaxes fascia, stabilizes the nervous system because it is one with the universe. The inhale and exhale are without end, the same way as 3.14 continues indefinitely and cannot be repeated. Again, this is why this practice, as Mugdha knows, it has everything. It is the evolution. It feels infinite. It is infinite. It is fluid. It pulls up all inorganic material in your DNA and nervous system to be processed. And finally, it is a very safe practice. Very simply, dissolution of separation, ego is softened. You find the wave consciousness of expanded space, and it has a harmonic frequency, which means you become the breath. Breathing flows through you. You are not breathing. You are being breathed by the Great Spirit. I will leave it there. Through breath, you evolve. In 15 minutes, there's a blast for you. Thank you all. Any questions on that?
breathing patterns would you recommend? Like right now, you were recommending us a kind of forceful breathing.
No, I was demonstrating a circle, but I'm not forcing. That's my capacity.
Okay, but like somatics.
Somatics will come eventually. What you really need to do now is learn how to breathe first.
Okay.
Breathe first, find safety in your body, and from there you will figure it out. Okay, but learn to breathe first. Somatics is the add-on. So somatics is the body giving you clues on how you would like to go deeper into the body, especially within a safety context.
All right.
Yeah.
One should go for this breathing work technique.
How long should you practice?
What is the minimum age?
13, 14 is good. And if it's a stable household, you can start to teach your kids a bit younger. It has to be a stable household, because otherwise, if there's information coming in and the parents are also the cause of the environmental issues the child is facing, then the child will not be able to process that information and will actually be repressed and so suppressed again for the same stuff that they're trying to explore. So 13, 14 in a safe container with consent. Any other questions? Okay. I want to talk about sleep. 4-7-8 breathing before bed. Again, no. Yes, please.
There's a lot of emphasis on nasal breathing. I noticed you were exhaling through your mouth.
Yes.
Is that, I know, is this just a very, very briefly, if you could answer, what is the advantages, benefits of nasal breathing versus mouth breathing?
Mouth breathing should not be done only for.
But you're exhaling through your mouth.
I'm not inhaling. The nasal passage has a number of different contours. It also takes the cilia, blocks all the mucus from going into my nose, and it also humidifies the air going in so it doesn't hit my lungs cool. Okay? So nose breathing and mouth breathing should be at a very minimum. If you mouth breathe, anyone here, you need to catch it in time and eliminate it as soon as possible. It will also be the probably cause your apnea, your sleep issues, and your snoring. So mouth tape at nighttime, 4-7-8 breathing with your legs against the wall, so feet against the wall. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. 15 minutes before bed is the top parasympathetic relaxer in terms of breathing. So inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Feet against the wall, go to bed. Okay? Any other questions on breathing or anything or trauma?
Hi, Mike.
Hello. Yes.
Thank you for this wonderful session. We have an online question for you.
Sure.
So someone has asked, what can people do for breath work when they're living in places that are heavily polluted?
They can close the doors, lie down, and do something. So something is better than nothing. Okay? Remember, it's still a top detoxification practice. 70% of all detoxification is through breathing. So they can practice and go to the hills whenever they get a chance. But something is better than nothing. But I know how difficult that is, especially in Delhi when the farmers are burning. But again, in those scenarios, they would resist the practice.
And what are your views on air purifiers? Air purifiers?
Air purifiers, I don't have an issue, but doing it in a air-conditioned room, is that an air purifier? No. No, an air conditioner is not ideal for breath work.
Okay.
Let me highlight that one. Pardon?
You recommend doing it in nature more than, this kind of a setup because.
No, I teach in India full-time. I live here full-time. I'm doing workshops, trainings, retreats everywhere.
Breathe
nature, then breathe indoors.
No, I mean, of course. Yes, but majority of time we will do it indoors.
Indoors, okay.
Yeah. Last question. I feel there's one more.
Hello.
Yeah, stand up.
Hi. How do we attend your workshop?
Ask Mugda.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Evolutionofbreath.com.
Hi, Mike. Hello. Yeah.
Right in front.
Yeah, right in the center. The 4, 7, 8, and 15 minutes breath work that you
Yeah.
recommended, if we do that regularly, usually how long would it take for all the trauma and, everything for the healing to happen usually?
So 4-7-8 is not going to bring out trauma. 4-7-8 is going to relax your parasympathetic nervous system before bed. That's the first thing. Most people are going straight to bed without any breathing practices. The thing that I have seen and heard right across the board is, and let's be honest, there's nobody breathing. There may be 1% of the planet breathing. We might think everyone's breathing, but they're not. So the reality is there's only a handful of people actually doing this work from a breathing perspective. So you do need to just start breathing to relax yourself at nighttime and spend time as you would watching TV or Netflix to go, this is something that I've been born with that connects me to the divine. Once I know how to do it, this should be a skill you should hone as well. As much as to sleep, it should be a skill to hone to make you really sharp at what you do. Because once you start to practice this, your level of presence and awareness skyrockets to levels that you have no idea what is actually possible.
So,
But 4, 7, 8 before bed will help you relax, and the practice Mugda is teaching, the conscious breathing, that will pull out your trauma. So this will pull it out. 3 to 5 sessions, you will definitely start to work on some deep stuff. Okay, minimum.
thank you. That answers.
And maybe I might come back to Pune and do a workshop if you're interested.
Okay, that's the last question.
Yes. Yes, there's a huge difference. This one is going to make you cry, possibly. It's going to make you face suppressed and repressed emotions. Nadi Shodhana, while it will do amazing things for you, in some of the sessions we operate, people figure out that, life was not all as rosy as they thought it was in their childhood. And these memories can come up like a volcano. Or they might get glimpses of, their ancestral lineage that needs to be healed. So this can just come out of nowhere in a session. So to answer your question, is this like Nadi Shodhana? It is most definitely not. But what it is freedom on an inhale. So if you're willing to do the work, as there are many ways to do the work, there is the work that you guys are doing through the nutrition, through the energy exchange, you're doing through iThrive. There's the work people are doing with plant medicines globally. There's work that anyone's doing. Inner work covers many ways. This is a very fast track in. Okay? It's like surgery. And then eventually you'll find a presence and a peace of mind within the practice that will allow you to breathe through just about anything. But this is a very deep practice. This is not a sit down and lie down and let's have a good time. You will have that as well. It's a mix and match. But the potential to work on deep issues is there, and that's why it should be taken more seriously and with care. Okay? Thank you, everybody. Okay.
Thank you, Mike. That was indeed powerful. A reminder that sometimes the most profound healing tool isn't a pill or a protocol, it's the breath we've had all along.